welcome to Thomas Geiger Car. Today with the Mini Aceman. Mini what? Yeah, you got me right, Aceman, because there is a new addition to the future lineup of that iconic British brand. After we've been driving the prototypes on the ice lakes of northern Sweden this spring, BMW has invited us to the design studios and giving us a detailed insight in the future design language, in the future interior, and in the future model lineup of the next generation Mini that will come as an EV in cooperation with the Chinese company Great Wall Motors and will come as an ICE car from Oxford. Not all the variants will come in all powertrains, but there will be lots more Mini in the future. And instead of explaining you all that by myself, I have an expert with me. Oliver Heilmer, the head of design of Mini, is with me here in the studio and telling you how the future cars will look like and what's it all about with the Mini Aceman. Here with me is Oliver Heilmer, the head of design at Mini. And the first question that comes into my mind, what is Aceman and what it's all about, this car?
So Mini is not just one car, it's a family. And we do have the Mini Hatch and the other end, the Mini Countryman. So there's space, we believe, in between. And the Mini Aceman with 4 meters and 5 doors, we believe is the perfect fit for the urban environment.
Okay, so new segment for Mini, or at least replacement for the old 5-door, but in another way, because the car looks a bit raised, so you have a bit of the SUV feeling. But it's not only a new segment, it's also a new look. What is the new look about? Where is it still Mini, and where do you stretch the boundaries of the old shapes a bit?
So the Mini Aceman is one of our youngest family members. And that is something we took and said, okay, if this is a car that needs to break out, we do have the chance to design it differently, to bring it into the modern world. What we kept is the, let's say, the layout of the front, headlights and the grille frame. The shape of the headlights is different, and that's exactly what we need as a different character. You need to be able to recognize the Aceman as the Aceman and not as the hatch.
Okay.
But there's a modern approach, as you can see. The front is entirely closed in body color.
Since it's an electric car and you don't need the radiation, you don't need the air intake anymore. Yeah.
In the lower area, you still need a little bit air, and this is the air intake in the lower part. Then you might have recognized those vertical long hole elements. In the concept Aceman, with these elements, we are showcasing the Mini sound. You have a driving sound in the future, it's curated entirely new, and you have to be able to recognize a Mini not just from its appearance, but as well from its sound.
Okay, so the front is new, but somehow familiar, so you know if you see that car, it's a Mini. So after you've shown us the front, which is iconic Mini and brand new at once, what did you change in the side view? So how does that fit into history and future?
So first of all, we're talking about a car that is 4 meters long, 5 doors. And important for us was keeping kind of the origins of taking the wheels out into the corners first. We do have a, let's say, classic 3-way division, like the contrast roof, the greenhouse and the body. The sculpture itself is different, it's fresh. There is the combination between some sharp lines, some edges, but let's say muscular appearance, especially in the areas of the wheels. The rest is held pretty clean. We have been chosen a bright color in order to understand the surface language, in order to understand the feeling within the surfaces.
Yeah, and you get pretty clear glasses, not the dark, aggressive look, so it's also roominess and friendliness. It is a bit of an SUV, it's higher than a standard compact car, but it's not an aggressive type of car that frightens people. It's still a friendly and open model. Okay.
We say it's a car for the urban jungle, and as you mentioned, it shouldn't be something where you have to hide yourself. Yeah. You have to be a part of the environment, right?
So I see it's still the short overhangs. That's also due to the battery platform that you developed with your Chinese partners. So wheels to the corner, battery in the middle, and not much room that you need for the engines anymore.
That's correct.
So
yeah.
the long wheelbase is roughly how long? Do you have an idea?
The wheelbase, I think it's roughly about 2.6 meters.
Okay. Yeah, so that means you have a lot of space for the rear seat passenger as well. It's a proper 5-seater, not only for
Absolutely.
children.
And that's what you feel immediately. You do have much more space in the front because there's no engine anymore, as you mentioned, and as well in the rear.
Okay, I'm quite excited to get into the car, but let's first take a look for the back. What were your thoughts when you designed the back, and where does it fit into the family, and where does it lead to new paths?
So first of all, you see that the rear as it is held really clean. We kept the space in between the taillights for the Mini logo and the letter Mini Aceman. Something that might remind you to the current generation is the Union Jack signature within the taillight. And it's something that is emotional in that sense that the idea is that the customer will be able to choose a specific signature, whatever he or she wants to have.
So that's not only Showcar, that's an idea for production. Is that already legal to do stuff like that, or is it somehow in between and you're hoping to get legalization done?
So, well, it's the idea for the production.
Yeah.
It's still not finished yet.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, right, it has to be legal.
Yeah.
So we have to fulfill the regulations we have there. But we feel really confident that it will be possible then.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So let's sit inside and
Perfect.
let's take a look at it. We moved from the outside to the inside. First time ever sitting in the Mini Aceman, realizing it is a small car from the outside, but inside is pretty roomy and it is pretty empty. After seeing all the glossy stuff in the actual Mini models, all the playful consoles, this is pretty clean and pretty empty. What was your thought when you decided to do it that way?
So the inspiration started in the beginning of the brand. And in the team, we were so fascinated by the first one, by the original icon. And there were just three elements, like the steering wheel, the center instrument, and the toggle bar. And we said, okay, that's our target. Let's keep it as simple as possible. Why? Because we want to do much more in terms of digital experiences. So let's keep it clean and simple in an analog way, but adding more in the display, in projections, and in the sound.
So especially this display, if we look at it, the old one was round already, but it was a square display mounted in between. This is the size of a record that you put on your record player once, but it is OLED technology and it's circular and it's full functional. And Oliver already told me that's not Showcar, that is almost production ready. So the future Mini will also have this circular full central display. So you not only reduce the amount of buttons and displays and all that stuff, you took away all the glossy stuff and changed the color and trim dramatically. I don't see any leather anymore, nor wood, nor metal that is somehow shining around. What was your idea when it comes to the color and trim of the future Mini?
So the approach was that by reducing step by step is not running into the risk that it's kind of boring or empty. So we took a lot of attention to the materials itself. We are treating surfaces with knitted textiles, 100% recycled. We'll be able to have different colors, different stitchings. So the warmth is coming with the attention to detail within those elements.
Okay. And there's another point of making it individual and rich. This is a digital display all over the console, something I'm going to show you in a minute. So if the camera comes in and I can show you what is on the screen, I think there will be some nice surprises within the center display. As Oliver already mentioned, lots of the intelligence and lots of the fun is in the central display and in the projections that come around. So this is the starting screen, and once we start the vehicle, we have 3 different modes. In the production model, there might be even more modes. The first mode is the personal mode, and that's mainly the coolest mode and something I've never seen before. In the theory, you can upload your own pictures, And besides seeing your personal picture on the screen, there are projections making the dashboard to a big screen and expanding the picture, so giving you a totally unique ambience, a design and a display nobody else will have. And if you don't like that picture anymore because you're bored of the sea, you can swap to your family, for example, have some family pictures there, can go to the swimming pool and have a refreshing experience, or you just upload the next picture. So that's the personal mode. If you're new to a city, don't know what to do, Mini suggests the pop-up mode, because the car is home in the city. That's the cool dude that knows everything that's going on in a city. For example, in London. Considering me not being to London many times, no idea what to do, so I'll start the exploring mode, the pop-up mode. The system is asking me, am I in an adventurous mood? Am I in a tasty, hungry mood? Or do I look for some trend? Looking for an adventure, activating that, having a giant spinning wheel, spinning it, and see what the system comes up with. And I'm heading for the casino. Navigation will start in a minute and everything is fine. Talking about navigation comes to driving. This car is a fully electric vehicle and an electric vehicle only, while the Hatch and the Countryman will come as a BEV or as an ICE model. This car is based on the Chinese corporation platform only, will come as a BEV. And if it's somehow similar like the Hatch, the three-door Mini, it will come in two engine or powertrain derivatives. We will have a 165 horsepower version and a 225 horsepower version, and we will have two battery sizes, 40 and 50 kilowatt hours for 300 or 400 kilometers of range. The system suggests the perfect route to the casino, and all I have to do is drive there. At least I should drive there, but since it's a prototype and a design show car, driving is not possible yet. But coming from the prototype drives in northern Sweden just a few weeks ago, I still have the information about the technology of the car. The Aceman will be offered only as a battery electric vehicle, while the hatchback will look the same but will come as a battery vehicle and an ICE engine. The battery one from China, the ICE engine from the UK in Oxford. This car is battery only, and it will come, as far as I know, with two powertrain derivatives. The standard version will have 135 kilowatts engine. The higher version will have 165 kilowatts engines, and there will be two battery sizes, 40 and 50 kilowatt hours for roughly 300 or 400 kilometers of range. And since it's a grown-up, mature car, not only for the city, but with this size also for the countryside, they will not stick with the speed of 150 kilometers per hour that is the limit for the actual Mini E. No, they will go way beyond, not decided yet to which speed, but I would assume 200 kilometers per hour shouldn't be a problem anymore in an electric Mini like the Aceman. As always with the design show cars, there are some smart ideas, and there is something very unique and very practical, versatile in the Mini as well. Usually you have a big center console, an armrest and some storage capacity, which usually has always the wrong size for your personal need. To make up with that, Mini has designed a variable console where you can move all the parts, you can move the cup holders, or you can just put them out. There are some cushions where you can easily put in your smartphone to store it, and you can place it wherever you want, so you're fully flexible. It's like a Lego box with all the possibilities, so very versatile, a very smart feature like the original Mini with lots of clever ideas. So sad that it's only a design car and that I'm not allowed to drive it, so for the moment it has to be static. But after getting a first insight in the future of Mini, I can tell you I can't wait to drive that car on the road, because I think Mini has found a perfect balance between looking back and looking ahead. There are lots of brands that are stuck in their history. That's just retrospective. It's always looking back. There are some other brands that totally lost their identity, done something new, and there is no link between history and future. Mini is balancing that, is keeping some iconic features, some iconic forms, some iconic shapes, but expanding it. So stay tuned. I'm very curious to see this car on the road in the midst of 2024, and I can't wait to drive it. Not today, but in the future.